By 2026, the functional gap between a flagship iPhone and a high-end Android has narrowed to its smallest point in history. Both systems now offer native live translation in calls, generative AI photo editing, and near-identical lock screen widget functionality. Because processing power has surpassed the needs of most mobile software, the choice now hinges on how you prefer your technology to operate and the specific trade-offs you are willing to manage. You are choosing between two distinct frameworks. Google builds Android as an open bazaar, a sprawling marketplace where anyone can build, modify, and sell. Apple builds iOS as a walled garden, a tightly curated estate where they control every variable. This chart maps the 5 variables impacting your daily life. Android's open bazaar stretches wide, leading in customization, hardware, and price by licensing to dozens of manufacturers. Conversely, Apple's walled garden pulls inward, securing the highest ratings for ecosystem integration and long-term support. No single device maximizes all 5 of these axes. Your choice comes down to looking at your daily habits and deciding which specific frictions you are most willing to tolerate. If you own a Mac or an iPad, Apple's rigid control over its hardware and software pays immediate dividends. The devices are engineered to recognize and trust each other automatically. Copy text on your iPhone, paste it on your MacBook, answer calls from your iPad, or drop massive video files without a Wi-Fi network. The friction of moving data between screens is practically eliminated. But that frictionless experience requires total commitment. If you try to mix a Windows PC or a third-party smartwatch into an Apple setup, those seamless handoffs break down. Apple builds high walls, making it expensive and frustrating to leave once you are inside. Android treats external devices with equal standing. Your phone connects to Windows laptops, smart TVs, or home speakers seamlessly. But this open compatibility costs optimization. Talking to hardware from dozens of companies means setup hurdles, mismatched protocols, and occasional dropped connections. You either pay Apple a financial premium to guarantee harmony, or accept minor technical hiccups on Android to maintain your freedom to buy whatever hardware you want. That same freedom extends to the software interface. Android allows you to replace the entire look and feel of your home screen. You can dictate exactly which third-party apps handle your default emails, maps, and browsers. You aren't even restricted to the Google Play Store. If you want a piece of software, you can download and install it directly from the web. This flowchart shows app distribution. Android leaves a side door open for custom installs, creating a pathway for malicious software. Apple strips away that option. Every iOS app must pass the App Store's strict review. There is no side door. By sacrificing your ability to tinker, you gain a heavily curated environment. The apps are vetted for security, and they generally run smoother because developers are coding for a narrow set of hardware specifications. Android is built for people who demand authority over their digital environment. iOS is for people who would rather outsource the management to Apple and just have a phone that works. Android serves as the primary testbed for diverse form factors, providing access to folding screens, integrated styluses, and hyper-fast charging systems, features Apple has historically been slower to adopt. Android remains the only option for the budget sector. You can walk into a store today and buy a highly capable, brand-new Android device with a massive battery for well under $500. This chart reveals a hidden cost. Due to fragmentation, Android software updates often stop after 2 or 3 years. Apple ignores the budget market with a high price floor, but that premium buys longevity, with iPhone support typically extending 6 or more years. Android delivers more immediate hardware features for your dollar today, but iOS provides a longer verified lifecycle for your investment. The conversation around privacy is heavily influenced by advertising. Apple markets the iPhone as a fortress for your personal data, but the reality is more complicated. Apple's app tracking transparency is highly effective. The iOS environment successfully blocks third-party brokers, like Facebook, from harvesting your activity across apps. But independent studies reveal a significant loophole. Apple continues to collect your usage data for its own internal analytics and advertising services. The walls keep other companies out, but the gardener is still watching. Android handles privacy by handing the clipboard to you. When you install an app, you are given granular controls to dictate exactly which hardware sensors, like your microphone or GPS, that specific app is allowed to access. The system works, but only if you pay attention. Restart shows users routinely rush through setup prompts, inadvertently granting utility apps full access to their contact lists and location data. iOS successfully protects you from everyone except Apple. Android gives you the tools to protect yourself, but leaves you exposed to your own mistakes. Making the right choice means stepping away from the spec sheets and looking at the practical realities of your daily life. Let's look at this scorecard. Our first profile is the seamless integrator. This is someone who already owns a Mac, wants a device that will last 6 years with zero maintenance, and values polished, built-in accessibility tools. For this profile, the premium price is justified. iOS is the recommended choice. The second profile is the optimizer. This user relies heavily on a Windows PC, demands total control over their home screen, and wants early access to hardware innovations like folding screens. If you need to tinker and connect across diverse ecosystems, Android is the recommended choice. Finally, the value seeker. If you need hardware capability, big battery, fast charging, solid camera, on a strict budget under $500, Android is the only viable path. In 2026, neither platform is universally superior. Look at your workflow, your budget, and choose the ecosystem whose specific frictions you are most comfortable tolerating.